Hello. You guys see this shit? It's NFL. We an ad. Sick. Um, yeah, this is NFL. I know. I don't do this crap, but we're gonna predict schedules because kind of just it's not necessarily because I think I know everything, but I think I have some pretty decent football knowledge, and we're gonna find out if I do or not. Um, and and more so it's like just kind of a personal thing because I was like thinking about, oh, this team's gonna be good. Well, let me look if I think they're actually gonna be good. Because I'm always like, okay, the Packers are probably like, just say really random. The Packers are gonna be like, oh no, it's gonna the Bears. Think, oh, they're gonna be like a 3 or 14 team. Well, I mean, if they're facing like, the Falcons, and they face, Falcons, Seahawks, Giants, Washington Jets. Like if they face all the bad teams, I mean, are they really gonna come up with only 3 wins? We're gonna find out. Uh, so yeah, I started with AFC North because it's my has Steelers in it, which is my team. So let's get to the entire AFC North. We're gonna do the Steelers last, actually. Um, well, no, we're gonna do Steelers first, actually, because my team gotta start with it. So yeah, things with the Steelers. Uh, they're probably the worst team in this division, on paper at least. Uh, they might have the best defense in the division, but that's a maybe. That's not even definite at this point because we either have the best defense in this division or we have the worst. Because last year this defense was not very good. It was actually pretty bad. It was like bottom five run defense. It was terrible. We allowed multiple 100-yard people, and I'm pretty sure like Javonte Williams, he ran all over us specifically. I remember that. It was horrible. He still won the game, so that's all that matters. But yeah, so but the defense has gotten a little bit better, probably. Uh, Jewett retiring sucked, but really he didn't play last year anyway, so but you can't really say that when the defense also was bad last year. So it was really bad versus the pass. It was really bad versus the run. So it was just in general really bad last year. I don't remember exactly what it was ranked, but it was ranked like 19th, 20th against the pass. I think it was like the 18, 19 range. It was in the teens, I know, for passing, and defense was like bottom five. It was really run defense was bottom five. It was really bad. And even if you watch the games, run defense was definitely obvious, and like the corners couldn't cover shit last year. The only good thing about this defense, like on paper, is obviously you got dominant guys like T.J. Watt, Minka, Cameron Hayward, who slept on by the way. Um, but outside of those big name guys, it's kind of lackluster. Like our corners, very bad. Um, we got Levi Wallace, so maybe he does something. He's good. He's okay. So we got him. I don't think we re-signed our other one, our cornerback too, because I'm imagining Levi's gonna be one. I don't know. Who do they have on the depth chart as one? I don't know who's actually listed as the one. I don't know whether it's Wallace or that's not what I wanted. I don't know who's listed as the one. That does not tell me anything. This one? Oh, nope. Other one. Oh, no, I gotta look at the depth chart. What's wrong with me? I forgot that's how you should do that. Who's listed as the one? Quarterback one. Okay, Witherspoon is listed as a cornerback one, which is really interesting. And Cam, interesting. because I'm pretty sure this is wrong. I'm pretty sure the quarterback room will be Witherspoon and Levi Wallace. Uh, this is gonna be right. This like linebacker room could kind of be whatever. Like this is probably right. These three guys, but this could swap out a lot. Last year we were specifically just cycling through linebackers. Obviously he's gonna be stay. He's gonna stay. And this might swap between Montravius Adams and Aldo Alu, but doubt. Getting Ogunjobi, very good. I forgot they actually signed him. Um, he might be a stud. Hopefully, he comes off injury fine, but uh, we'll see. We'll see. But anyway, um, but yeah, I think this team in general has actually like improved from last year. Not enough people are talking about it. Like obviously the quarterback situation. I think ironically enough, I think the quarterback's going to be better. Just we don't know who it is, whether it be Pickett or Trubisky. I think one of them will be better than Ben. Like obviously we don't know which one, so our situation's not great. But I think with whoever, whichever one it is, it's going to be better than Ben was last year because Ben wasn't that bad, but he was pretty bad last year. Like hopefully. And I mean, it's not like the scheme was very good either. Colbert did a very bad job of, managing third down specifically. But maybe with having a mobile quarterback in Pickett or Trubisky, um, we'll see. Obviously, you got Rudolph there too, but he might not even make the roster. He probably will, actually. I think we're running a three quarterback system, which we normally don't. We normally just have Rudolph and Ben, but obviously Ben's gone, so we don't know exactly who's going to be who's going to be the starter. So yeah, obviously with Tuitt retiring, the linebacker, defensive court period is going to be worse. But he didn't play last year anyway. But I think I mentioned this already, but that doesn't really help given that the defense was bad last year. So it really just depends on how this defense plays, I think, because as previously mentioned, we could have the best defense in the division. We could also have the worst defense in the division. We don't know. We're gonna have to see how they play. Hopefully, with Ogunjobi and Jet Miles Jack and Levi Wallace, all these guys they play well and they actually help the defense. Uh, obviously, we gotta hope Terrell Edmonds plays better than he did last year because he wasn't that bad, but we're gonna see because that safety duo could be very good because you obviously got Minka already. He's a stud. You just really need what's it called? You need Freak Edmonds to step up. So that defense could be very good. All in all, uh, week one we got the Bengals. That's a tough break. We did play the Bills last year, week one, and we did win that. But the Bengals destroyed us twice last year. There's no shot that we're gonna beat them. I mean, maybe if get a lucky break. That's all I got. I will say with the Steelers though, we don't really lose to teams like in 2020 we lost to teams we shouldn't have, but last year we really did not lose to anyone we should not have. Our worst losses were to the Raiders and to the Vikings. We lost to two teams that were not in the playoffs. That was the Chargers, who probably should have made the playoffs even, and the Vikings, who the offense is pretty good, the team is pretty bad, but nonetheless, so you don't really lose teams that you shouldn't. So like when it comes down to the Jets game, we're gonna beat the Jets. Um, so yeah, week two you got the Patriots. This should be interesting. It really depends on how well it really depends on how well they can stop Mac Jones. Uh, if it goes well, then I'm sure I don't think the offense is gonna like be too bad versus the Patriots. Their defense got worse. So maybe it's fine. I don't think this is like the worst game of the season. And generally in these like 50-50 games, the Steelers tend to actually win them. You think about like the Broncos last year. You think about who else last year? I was just talking about last year. I'm not talking about 2020, which we also won pretty much the 2020 game, 50-50 games. But nonetheless, I think the Steelers tend to come out on top when it comes to these 50-50 games. So we're gonna go with the Steelers there versus the Browns. They're not gonna have Deshaun at this point, whether or not he's suspended for the whole season or for like 8 weeks. Either way, they're not gonna have Deshaun. I think, my guess is that they get Jimmy G, but to pick up because they just lost Baker to the Panthers. I don't think they're gonna rock with uh, Jacoby Brissett. If they do, he's okay. He's not even okay. He's just bad, but he's like serviceable backup. But unfortunately, he's gonna have to start week 2 or 3 in this case, and they're not gonna run with like because currently they have. I guess they only have 2 quarterbacks on the roster. Is what I'm assuming, and they're not gonna run with these 2 quarterbacks because I'm assuming it's just 2 on the roster. Oh, I forgot they got Dobbs. I forgot about him. But, I mean, Dobbs might be smart, but he's just kind of a practice squad guy. But yeah, if Deshaun's suspended, I don't think they're going to rock with Jacoby Brissett if they don't have to. And they don't have to because there's Jimmy G on the market still. Obviously, they don't really have many draft picks, but Jimmy G should go for decently cheap. But we're going to find out. The 49ers could also just keep him. And if they're not comfortable with Trey Lance, so we're gonna find out. But either way, I don't think no matter what, I think the Steelers come out on top. So in this matchup, because they're not gonna have the greatest quarterback situation, I think this defense can really do well versus a team with a bad quarterback situation. So yeah, it's like the Broncos last year. It's like who else? It's versus all the bad teams that we played last year. Like, I just don't think that we got to be scared of Jacoby Brissett. But yeah, so we start 3-1, and this is where everything goes to hell. Because then we face the Bills. It's a rematch, but this year the Bills just got better, and we might have gotten a little bit better, but they're just last year was a fluke anyway. Probably shouldn't have won that game. So I'm not gonna pick the Steelers there. Then we got the Bucks. It's actually, I think this would be a good game, but I think it's still a loss nonetheless. Then you look at the Steelers Dolphins. I think that the Dolphins O line might really struggle here, but I think as long as Tua, I'm a little bit higher on Tua than people are, but as previously mentioned, we kind of thrive in situations where their quarterback situation isn't the greatest. So their O line isn't that good. They obviously got one guy, but one guy isn't going to save them. The rest of the O line is also pretty bad still. So, and like this is again probably more of a 50-50 game. Tyreek could absolutely kill us. Tyreek and Waddle might just kill us, but I don't know how good the defense of the Dolphins is going to play. Because I don't know how good the defense of Dolphins are, period. Like 2 years ago, they were very good, but I don't remember how good they were last year. I think they were pretty solid still, but I don't think they were like crazy. Like I don't know. They did play pretty well in that 8 game stretch, or is it? Yeah, it was an 8 game stretch. They played pretty well then, but I don't know. I think, but again, in these 50-50 games, I'm gonna take the Steelers. This one I think is very like this was a 50-50. I think this one might be a little bit more of an upset, if anything. Um, like the Dolphins are probably favored here, but is like as long as Minka, like as long as they plan for Tyreek, I think it's okay. Obviously, it's not that easy to guard Tyreek, but he can't get deep, so he's gonna have to play these shorter routes, which hopefully the corners can guard, uh, and the linebackers if they have to. But I don't think we have any really good coverage linebackers. I think they're all pretty bad at coverage. I think Bush is okay, if I recall correctly, but I really just don't know. Um, so yeah, then we get Eagles, Steelers. I think I gotta take into account these games are like at home. I didn't think about that, but either way, we're not gonna beat the Bengals at home. Steelers at home. Like these 50-50 games, you kind of gotta favor someone, but whoever's at home. But I mean, you're not gonna beat the Bills at home. You're not gonna. You're at home versus the Bucks, but that's not gonna happen. This game might actually favor the Dolphins just because it is at home, but I think it being at home only matters so much. Hmm. I might come back to this. I'll still have them locked, but I might come back to this because this one I think is more of a 50-50 game than this one is. This one I think is probably actually Steelers favored because you're not gonna want to go 0-2 as Mike Tomlin, but we'll see. We'll see. Um, I'm really. This one's close. This one I think we're gonna favor the Dolphins just because it's at home. And then Eagles, Steelers. I think Eagles are very good. I'm very high on the Eagles, and it's at home. Like, I don't know how they plan on stopping Hurts, so we're gonna favor the Eagles there. So you're gonna go into the bye week. 3-5, not that good. I think at best you go into the bye week sitting at 5-3, assuming you win these last two. But I think realistically 4-4 or 3-5 going into the bye week. Um, so coming out of the bye week, you get the Saints at home. This one's interesting because I don't exactly know how Will James is gonna play next season. I think he was very good last year, but don't know how well he's gonna play this year. The Saints defense is very, very good, but I don't know. I don't know. This game, it is at home, but I think that it's gonna be a tough one to win, just because I think that Saints defense might just be too much to handle. Genuinely, I think it's gonna be too much to handle. We're gonna get cooked here. I don't even describe that one, but I think okay. Hmm. I don't know that you can handle the Saints offense either. Like Kamara might just kill us. I don't know if when does Thomas come back? I don't remember. Doesn't he come back like early though? I'm not sure. Okay, I'm gonna say Steelers here because it's coming out of the bye week. It's at home. Uh, Tomlin's gonna come out of this bye week being 3-5. He's not going to drop the game here. So while I think wanting to win only goes so far, I think you got to pick a couple upsets in a season, and I think this is gonna be one of them. I think Steelers at home, coming out of the bye week, can get the upset versus the Saints in a close game. I don't think this is a 50-50 game. I think it's probably like 60-40 in favor of the Saints, but you're not you're gonna get upset somewhere, and I think this is probably the prime position to get upset. Um, Monday Night Football. Saints Colts or not Saints Colts. I'm not describing this game. We're gonna get destroyed by the Bengals twice, and there's not much we can do about it. Like, it's the same thing as the first one. This team is very good, and I just don't know how we're gonna stop anything. Like I don't know how we're gonna stop anyone anywhere on the Bengals offense, but maybe we got cooked twice last year. I see us getting cooked twice again. Colts Steelers. I'm pretty high on the Colts. I will say that Monday Night Football. Interesting. Maybe as long as we lock down Michael Pittman, then he's gonna have to find like Alec Pierce and a wide receiver 3 to throw to. Matt Ryan is. So obviously the O line's good. Obviously Matt Ryan. We're not exactly sure how good he is, but he's still pretty promising. Um, it really depends on how well uh probably Pickett at this point is what I'm guessing. It really depends on how well Pickett can play versus the Colts defense. I think we're more relying on the offense to play well here because I think the defense can play pretty decently as long as they can deal with Michael Pittman. I think they can because I think by this time you'll find out who the clear quarterback one is and who's going to lock up who. Um, I think we can play fine on defense. It really comes down to how well you can play on offense versus this. And I don't know if I know Rhodes is a pretty good slot corner, but that's his name, right? I don't want to call him wrong name. Not Woods. Rhodes. Yeah, okay, I had the right guy. He's a pretty good slot corner, which is tough for like Calvin Austin if he's playing, which I imagine he will be, and Claypool. But I don't know. I think. Hmm. I think this is going to be a closer game as well, and it's going to be tough for the Steelers to win it. But I think the defense can play well. I think this is a game they could probably shine in. And as long as the offense puts up, 20, 25 points, which I think it can do, I think they can pull out here. Falcons. I live in Georgia, so I know about the Falcons. They suck. That's about it. They just suck. To this point, they're 6-6. That's about what I expect. This is gonna be a matchup because we swept the Ravens last year, but I know one. I don't remember what happened in the second game, but I know one game came down to a 2-point conversion. What did the other game come down to? Was it late? Yeah, it was late in the season. I don't actually remember this game. I think I watched it, but I don't remember it. Yeah, I don't remember that game, so I know the other one came down to 2-point conversion that Mark Andrews actually had the opportunity to catch, except he missed it. I don't know. I don't think it was a drop, but it was like just slightly out of reach. Like it was really like a foot out of his reach. It was crazy. Not even a foot. But yeah. I think this probably goes 1-1 with the Ravens next year. Uh, Probably gonna take the home game, but then lose away. Let's go ahead and lock that in. Um, I think that's what happens. Just because I think it was 1-1, and I don't know which one. It doesn't really matter. I'm just saying that they will go 1-1 with the Ravens. So I don't know which one they're gonna win, but I'm pretty sure they win one and lose the other. So we're just gonna put them at the home games. Steelers Panthers is actually very interesting because that's a Baker game. It's versus Baker. I just don't know if the Panthers really have that talent. because I think that O line is gonna get absolutely killed this game. Um, and Baker behind a bad O line versus T.J. Watt and Cam Hayward, I don't think that bodes well. Obviously, that the Panthers defense, I think the Panthers defense is like top five, but you know, I don't know if Baker can really hold up behind the battle line, having to face T.J. Watt and Cam Hayward. Like this game might be like a 3-sack game from TJ, like actually, but we'll see. But I just don't think, and it's like the same thing with the Colts. As long as you can lock up DJ Moore, which I doubt he's gonna get locked up this game, but as long as you can cover him decently, it really depends on CMC being there too. Because if CMC is there, it's gonna be really bad. But if he's not healthy, then I don't know how well the Panthers are gonna be able to bold versus you know just I think the offense is going to really struggle. It's going to be like the same thing as the Colts, where the defense shines, and it really just depends on how well the offense can play. If the offense plays well, this is a win. If the offense plays bad, it's a loss. But I think there's another game where the Steelers have to put up, 20, 25 points. That's all you got to do. This game, it's at home, but it's going to be tough. It's gonna be hard to beat up. Like last year, we struggled to cover Darren Waller alone, like Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow. Now you got to cover those guys plus Devontae. Doubt it. They beat us last year. I don't see why they can't do it again with a better team. I don't see why they couldn't. Um. So this final week, um, I'm thinking because I think I'm gonna go ahead and wait because I gotta figure out because if the Browns are already in the playoffs, okay, this is assuming that Deshaun only gets not arrested, uh, what's it called, suspended for partial of the season. If it's a whole season, I think this game's a sweep. I think it's a sweep. I think the Steelers win it and go 9-8. But I think um I think we'll come back to this game because I'm not sure what position the Browns are going to be in. We'll go ahead and do the Browns next. But I don't know the position the Browns are going to be in. I think if they're in playoffs, I think the Steelers win. If they're fighting for a playoff spot, I don't know if the Steelers can do it. I think if the Browns are out, then I think the Steelers will win. I think if the Browns are in or out guaranteed, I think the Steelers win. I think if the Browns are fighting for a playoff spot, then I think the Steelers are good. Or will lose. But that's why you find out the Browns schedule. So Browns defense very good. How long is this already? It's 28 minutes. That's gonna be a long one. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Who cares? But the Browns are in like a pretty bad situation with Deshaun. You're probably gonna have to start Jacoby Brissett into these first few weeks. These first weeks, which actually works out for the Browns here because they have a very easy early schedule. And then their later set part of the season is tough, but I think these games we're gonna say Deshaun is not here, and after the bye week you have Deshaun. That's what we're gonna say. So we're gonna assume because they don't have Jimmy G, we're going to assume that they are going with Brissett, and I think the Panthers started 3-0 last year and then kind of tanked. They went 4-13 on the season, so I'm not sure how well Jacoby Brissett is gonna play, but he's gonna have talent there. He's gonna have Amari Cooper. He's gonna have Peoples Jones. I don't know their wide receiver 3. I don't know who their wide receiver 3 is. David Bell. Interesting. Okay, but let's imagine that that's not a thing. This run game is probably gonna kill them. Uh, just because even though you have bad quarterback play, I didn't talk about that with the Steelers either. Like, obviously it matters on the quarterback play, but it depends on if they can just do better versus Chubb and Kareem Hunt. If they do better, which I imagine they will, I think this run defense is going to be better. I think it's going to be significantly better. So that's why I'm thinking that this game's fine. Because I think the pass defense is more. Honestly, I think the pass defense is more concerning than it was last year. Because you don't know how Levi Wallace is going to play. With Witherspoon, and you don't know how Witherspoon's going to play. If these guys play well, then pass defense could be good. If it's not, then they could play pretty bad defense. But I think the run defense will be better. Um, hopefully, um, hopefully the linebacker play will be much better than last year. We won't have to cycle through freaking everybody. Hopefully it'll be more consistent. I think with a more consistent linebacker play, the run defense will be better, which is why I'm saying that that game could be fine. But nonetheless, this game's probably gonna be low scoring, ironically enough, because but it's a Baker revenge game. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. It's a Baker revenge game. They're not winning that game. Baker is not gonna lose to the Browns week 1. I'm sorry. There's simply no way. And it's at home. There is no way. I think if this was in the Browns stadium, it'd be even better for Baker. But yeah, Baker's not gonna lose the revenge game. I'm sorry. There's just actually no way. Week 2 they have the Jets. The Jets are fine. Like, they're okay, but they're still not good. And the Browns are good everywhere except quarterback in this position. The run defense is not good. We're gonna say the Browns there. I already talked about this, so I'm not gonna go back over it. Falcons. The Falcons are bad. I'm sorry. The Browns. I don't really have to describe this too much. The Falcons are bad. Chargers, Browns. So this game I think is gonna be like a decent game, but ultimately I think the Chargers are the better team. I think the Chargers are probably the better team, but nah. It depends on how well the run defense is, because the run defense of the Chargers was also really bad last year. But they did get Khalil Mack. But Khalil Mack can only do so much, because I don't think they really improved the defense otherwise in terms of run. They did get J.C. Jackson, obviously, which definitely helps the pass game, makes that secondary elite. But I don't know how good that run defense is going to be. Obviously, Khalil Mack's really going to help with that, but he's getting older and older. So it's probably going to be very much on Nick Chubb and how he plays. I think they played last year, the Browns Chargers. I think they played last year. No, this game was very high scoring, right? I think I remember that game. Yeah, it was very high scoring. It was a crazy game. I remember that. And Chubb ran for 161 yards. See, that's what I was talking about. Like, they got cooked last year. But I think with the Browns, assuming that they have Brissett, they got worse with Brissett, and with the Chargers, they got better. So I think it's gonna be tough for the Browns. I don't think it's unwinnable, but I am gonna take the Chargers. Chargers are a very good team. They're gonna win games, and I think this is one they could definitely win. Patriots, Browns. I think they also played last year. I don't know how the other teams go. Did they play last year? Oh, that was a blowout. Holy shit. This was ugly. So actually, I know I was gonna. Oh, because Chubb and Kareem Hunt weren't. Why was Kareem Hunt playing? I know this was last year. Yeah, this was last year. Wait, I didn't know Chubb got injured last year. Where's Pro Football Reference? Nah, he played 14 games. He didn't play the full season. Huh? Interesting. What happened to Kareem Hunt? Why didn't he play? Anyway, this game is probably a lot closer if Kareem Hunt and Chubb play. Obviously, Dearness Johnson did a fine job, but it's still Chubb and Kareem Hunt. They're still very good. And the Patriots did get worse. They got worse because they lost um their run defense got worse. So and their like last year obviously was destruction, but the defense is still good from the Browns. Obviously, they're not gonna let up 45 points again. Like obviously they did last year, but they're not gonna let up 45 points again. And I think this is probably a game that the Browns can win, especially it being at home. Especially given that Chubb and Kareem are still good. I don't know how good the Patriots' run defense is going to be. They could just destroy the Patriots. I think it's going to be a close game, though. Probably a close game. Um, Browns Ravens. When do they play them again? Because that could be interesting. They play them way back when. Dang, the Browns. The Browns are such a tough topic because I don't know like I know about them, but I don't know how good they're gonna be. Um, I think the biggest problem with the Ravens in this game is that they have the uh, freak. The Browns have two very good corners in Greg Newsome and Denzel Ward. What the heck am I talking about? Um, yeah. I'm talking. Okay, blanked for a second. And Denzel Ward, whatever. They don't really have a great uh wide receiver core. It's pretty bad. So they're gonna have to rely mostly on Mark Andrews this game. But that's where you can put your primary corners on him because you don't have to worry about Hollywood Brown because he's not there anymore. Obviously, you're gonna have to deal with Rashad Bateman, but I think that's really fine. I think you can deal with that. I think that's okay. Um, I think he's not the biggest. I don't know how good Bateman's gonna be as a wide receiver one. We're gonna find out. Um, but I think this could be a good cornerback matchup with more so specifically Mark Andrews, but I think Newsome and Ward will pretty much have that guy covered most of the game. So it might really be hard to pass for this team. Um, you're gonna have to rely on Lamar running with Dobbins and how good Dobbins is gonna be. Like we also don't know how good Dobbins is gonna be. Like we don't know how good Lamar is. We don't know how good Dobbins is going to be. We don't know how good Bateman is going to be as a wide receiver one. We don't know anything about the Ravens. So that's the problem with the Ravens. We don't know how good they're going to be. But they're probably going to be fine. Like, just I think they probably also trade with the Browns, but I think the Browns are more likely to win. Wait. I think they're more likely to win here because of Deshaun than they are with Brissett. I think while this game's gonna be low scoring, but it's gonna be like low scoring on both sides to the point where it's like almost 50-50. But I think I would rely on the Ravens score more so than I would. Okay, let me think. Because it really depends on how good the Ravens are. Like we don't. I'm assuming that their their defense is good too. Like this is gonna be a very defensive showdown versus offenses that are not sure. But at this point in week 7, we will know how good they are. So that's why predicting a preseason that was tough because we don't know how good they're gonna be. But we're gonna say that the Ravens win this one just because. But I think in the next game where they're gonna have to deal with Deshaun, I think they're really gonna struggle. Um, and here the Bengals Browns, I'm not trusting Jacoby Brissett to beat the Bengals because it's gonna be a high scoring. Like this will be high scoring, and I don't know that I can consistently rely on um I don't know that I could consistently rely on Brissett to score a lot of points. Obviously, you can rely on Chubb to score a lot of points, but I don't know that I can rely on Brissett to score a lot of points. He can just manage the game. But into the bye week, in week 10, is where we're going to assume that Deshaun is back. Because I don't think he's getting. Because there's only 4 cases now, right? Like, that they have to deal with. I think that's how I understand it. So, I don't think, all these cases are going to get him. What's it called? Suspended for the whole season. Unfortunately, because he's probably not the greatest person, but nonetheless, the NFL does not like punishing things properly. But here we are. So we're gonna say Deshaun is back. So it's Deshaun Watson versus Tua. I think that's really all I have to say. It's Deshaun Watson versus Tua. We know who the better quarterback is. Okay, hold on. We don't know how. This will be Deshaun's first game back, though. This will be Deshaun's first game back. I don't know that he's necessarily ready and is going to be able to come in immediately and win games. It's crazy because I have him going 3-3. Wait, no, not 3-3. What am I talking about? That's conference. 4-4. I have them going 4. No, I have them 3-5. Okay, I forgot I did that already. I have them going 3-5 without Deshaun, which is pretty good position, like for Deshaun. Ironically enough, because he's still got games versus Houston. He's still got a game versus Washington that he could probably win. I don't know that Deshaun is going to be ready to face versus the Dolphins, though. I think he might struggle, which really helps the Dolphins there. And then he's got to go into the Bills, and he's got to beat the Bills. And this could be pretty high scoring, but again, in these high scoring games, I'm going to take the Bills. Bucks Browns. It's at home for the Browns. And again, this is like my upset of the season, I think. I'm going to take the Browns. I don't know that, because Deshaun's not bad, obviously. But at this point, he's getting his groove back. He's going to win a game he probably shouldn't. And this is where I think he goes on a little mini winning streak. I think he brings it good versus the Bucks, and he actually wins the game. Cause he's got his crap together here. Where it's a high-scoring game, except he still loses. Here, he gets the crap back, and he wins. And then obviously he beats Houston, just a better team. And this is where I was talking about a high-scoring game versus Deshaun. Wait, no, I was talking about the Ravens. But either way, I think I know the Bengals have been destroying the Browns recently, but I don't know. This is gonna be a very good game too. But I don't think the Bengals are gonna go they already 2-0'd the Steelers in this case. Are they really gonna 2-0 the Browns as well? I just doubt it. I think the Browns are not gonna lose every game, They're facing the Ravens. I already talked about this though. How I think the Browns are gonna be able to seal it out versus the Ravens. Then we got Saints, Browns. This one's interesting. Damn, this is a matchup. This is a good game, probably. Ooh, who do I take here? I think at this point, the Browns. I don't know that they're gonna go on a 5-win streak, and I have them beating Washington, probably beating Washington. So I don't think they're gonna go on a 6-game win streak. I think they're gonna drop one of them. Maybe that they shouldn't drop. I think game's gonna be a step into reality that, hold on, you're not just a guaranteed lock for playoffs just because Deshaun is there. Um, I think this game's like kick back into reality. He's gonna play a very good defense, and he's gonna struggle. He's not necessarily gonna struggle, but it's gonna just hit back into reality, saying, "Hey, this is not free. You still gotta play well. You gotta get back into the groove." Like, obviously the Bengals, not a bad defense. Ravens, probably a very good defense even, but it's not like he's gonna have to put up like 30, 40 points here. Probably he's probably gonna have to put up like probably about 30 points, 25, 30 points. I hope he's solidly winning then. But I think versus the Saints defense, his number one receiver is gonna be pretty much locked up. This matchup versus Amari Cooper, Marlon Humphrey, that's gonna be very good. But I think Amari Cooper could probably seal it out. Maybe. I don't know. But this game's gonna be tough. He's gonna face a very good secondary. Again, for the second week in a row, and I don't think he can consistently do well versus a good secondary, because I think most quarterbacks cannot perform very well versus a great secondary. Like, obviously, I think Mahomes, Allen, Rodgers, and Brady can do fine versus a good secondary. I think those are the four that can consistently do well, and probably Herbert as well. But I think those are like the five that can consistently do well versus a good secondary. Otherwise, sometimes you might have someone struggling. And Sean, I think, is going to struggle versus a very good Saints secondary. And he's going to have to put up a good amount of points, probably. And I just don't know that I don't know that he can put up a lot of points versus a very good Saints defense. So then you go into Washington. Browns are the better team. They're coming off a loss. I think they're going to bounce back here versus Washington. Obviously, it's at home versus Washington, but I don't know how much I'm going to rely on Carson Wentz. I mean, that's even if it's Carson Wentz at this point. It's week 17. If Washington's not that good, which I have Washington being better than most people think, I don't have them going, 4 wins, but we'll see how that goes. Assuming Deshaun plays for all this, then I think they're a very good team. And this is where, like, they were a contender last year with Baker. Why can they not be a contender this year with Deshaun? Assuming that he plays, he's gonna be back in the groove. I don't know that Washington can handle it. So yeah, at this point, this is having the Browns at 8-8, which is really interesting because I don't know how the playoff bracket's gonna work, because this might be a game that's for playoffs. At this point, I have them losing to the Steelers already once. And as I was previously mentioning, though, I think if it comes down to it, if this is a game for the playoffs, I think the Browns win it. But, let me think. I think this is going to be a close game, a good game, hopefully. But I think that the Browns could probably seal it out, just because, like, I don't know that Amari Cooper is gonna, like, get locked down. Like, he might, like, here. Amari Cooper might get locked down by, Freak. You know who I'm talking about. Saints corner. I forgot his name. Starts with an M, I think. It's who freaking locks up, the Bucks. It's who destroys the Bucks every time they play. Who am I thinking of? Alright, this is not helping me at all. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Who am I talking about? Lattimore. Thank you. God. Lattimore destroys them every time they play. The Bucks. So, I feel like he might struggle there because Amari Cooper's gonna get locked up, and he's gonna have to throw Donovan Peoples-Jones, and apparently that third David Bell. I don't know who David Bell is, but I think that dude's like recently drafted though, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. Is that he's very recent. Yeah, he was drafted this year. That's what I thought. I recognize his name. I remembered his name actually. Um, maybe he's good. We'll find out. But I think here the Browns are going to seal it out versus the Steelers. Potentially push themselves into the playoffs. Hopefully that's good enough. It's a very loaded AFC though, so I'm not sure how comfortable I'd feel. But we're gonna say that the Steelers lose that game because I don't think they're gonna sweep the Browns again. And I think that the Browns quarterback situation is gonna be better than the Steelers quarterback situation. Because I think Deshaun is just better than Kenny Pickett, who I'm assuming is gonna play at this point, and we'll see. This will probably be a good game though. So yeah, that seals up the Steelers' record going 8-9. It will be their first losing season. But I think this is like the middle. I think like I think versus like the Patriots could go either way. I think these two could honestly go probably either way. I did not mean to put that equal, but these two could probably go either way. This is an upset. This could probably go either way. This one could go either way. The Ravens games could go either way. Like there's so many games on this schedule that could just go either way. Like it's same with the Browns too. Like I'm assuming Baker's gonna destroy the Browns, but like here, if the Browns beat, like if they don't go 3-5 in this first stretch, and they do have Deshaun back after the bye week, and the Browns are already good for playoffs, then I think as long as the Browns if the Browns are good for playoffs locked, then I think they're fine, and that they will probably just rest their starters, and the Steelers can take out a win there. But I think if it's for playoffs, the Browns are probably favored. So, there's two teams down, and we're 52 minutes in. Pretty long, but that's about expected. I'll do the Ravens next. I'm pretty high on the Ravens. I think their defense is good. I think Lamar is still very good. People are kind of sleeping, but hopefully, I think the Ravens with Lamar are a good team. That defense just got extremely good. Like now, that defense is very good. Very like elite secondary. Might have the best secondary in the league, even. Maybe, just maybe. Um. So yeah, we'll get into it then. Ravens Jets week 1. I'm pretty sure they'll win that. I don't think it's gonna be a too tough one. Miami. Miami plays all the AFC North. Yeah, they play the entire AFC. No, they don't. No, they don't. Wait, what am I talking about? What team played the entire AFC North in the first 4 weeks? There was one team. I remember seeing that. Who was it? Someone plays the entire AFC North in the first weeks. No, it's the Jets. Is it the Jets? The Jets. Yeah, they play the entire AFC North in the entire first 4 weeks, which is kind of crazy, but poor Jets. Where's Lamar? I had Lamar, but where's him? Yep. Anyway, um, the Dolphins, Ravens should probably be good, but I think that Tua might struggle versus a very good secondary, whereas Lamar might just. I don't know how good the Miami rush defense was last year, but I'm not gonna Google it either. I don't feel like figuring it out, but I don't know how good it was, but I guess we're gonna see. But I think Tua might really struggle this game. Obviously, I already have Tua beating the other two AC North teams, but this one, he's gonna have to seal it out versus a very good secondary in Humphrey and Kyle Hamilton and guys like that. So I don't think Tua can beat it here, especially when it's at home. Like, I don't know. I think it's gonna be tough for Miami. This game could probably go either way, but I'd probably take like 55-45 in favor. Patriots at home. I'm not that low on the Patriots, trust me. But I know it looks like I am, but like I'm not that low on them. It just kind of happens that I think like here I don't know why Lamar cannot just kind of kill the Patriots. Like, I feel like Lamar, like, I can't, you gotta think about this as like a cornerback matchup, but they don't even have like who's the, I don't know who the Patriots cornerbacks are now. Wait, no, I do know. It's freak. Who's the other guy that the quarterback two last year that they got rid? The only reason they got rid of J.C. Jackson was because his cornerback was very good last year. No, wait, who was it? No. I was talking about no. J.C. Jackson was that guy. They got rid of Gilmore, or they traded away Gilmore because J.C. Jackson was good, and now J.C. Jackson is gone. So now they have to rely on Malcolm Butler, who is like very old, right? I don't know. I think he's like 32. He's 32. Yeah, he's very old, and we don't really know how good he is. And Jalen Mills, who I don't know who this guy is actually. Is he good? Does not look like it. He doesn't look bad, but he might be bad. I'm not sure. I don't know who the guy is, so um yeah, and the safety duo is not that good. The secondary is very bad. Like you don't really have anyone to lock up Mark Andrews or Rashad Bateman, so I think it's gonna be a tough one. This one's gonna be good though. Ravens Bills. That's gonna be a good one. But it's gonna be high scoring for sure. But I'm not sure if Lamar can quite keep up. Because like the Bills are gonna have a very good defense too. Like, well, I think the Bills are probably better on defense and offense is the problem. Where that's where it's gonna be the problem is that they're probably better on they're definitely better on offense and their defense is probably gonna be better too because they have like an elite secondary as well. Like, it's gonna be tough. Like this would probably be high scoring, but I would definitely trust Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs over Lamar and Rashad Bateman here. Um, Bengals Ravens. I think that the Ravens and Bengals probably trade 1-1. They play in week 18. So okay, so this is where the Ravens probably win because because the Bengals are already going to be locked for playoffs. They don't have to play for crap. I think I'll wait to lock this game in though because the Ravens also might not have anything to play for because they might also be locked for playoffs. It depends if the Bengals are playing for the top seed or not. Let's see. But in this game, week 5, at Baltimore, could be interesting for sure. Um, let me think. Let me think. See, like my problem here is that the Bengals don't really. How did they go last year? Yeah, they got popped last year. Like, that's what I thought, but the Ravens popped them the year before, though. But who cares about that? Yeah, that's what I thought. The Bengals kind of popped like everyone, but the Browns beat the Ravens. I think I was talking about how the Browns lost to the Bengals, but I think that's actually inaccurate. Yeah, the Browns popped the Bengals. It was the opposite way around. I think I said that wrong earlier, but I think I said that wrong then, but I forgot like the Browns like destroyed the Bengals last year. But either way, I think that they struggled last year. It's like the same thing with the Steelers. I don't know why they would not struggle this year versus them. Versus the Giants. The Giants suck. The Ravens don't. That's really all I got. Bucks Ravens. Got another high-powered offense, very high-scoring game, and I think again I would just take Brady, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin over, you know, Lamar and Rashad Bateman. These high-powered offensive, fast, high-scoring games. I would take the safety guys over Lamar and Rashad Bateman. Saints Ravens. Um, Saints at home, Monday Night Football. Hmm. No, this could go to a tie. Even I'm not gonna not lock in a tie, but like every season has a tie, right? Why can't it be this one? maybe. Um. Hmm. How does? Cause haven't we seen? Hold on. Have we had Ravens Saints? When's the last time they played? Because I was wondering if we've seen. Uh, I was wondering if we've seen Humphrey versus. Have we seen? Hold on. Gotta look this up. I don't know. I don't really care enough. But um, I was wondering if they've like played before, and I was wondering how well the Ravens did versus. Oh, I was more so wondering how well Humphrey did versus what's his name? Oh, but it's gonna be Jarvis Landry back in this. Wait, no, that's Browns. What am I talking about? It's gonna be Jarvis Landry back facing the How we have seen this? No, we haven't. Yes, we have. Jarvis Landry. That's what I was thinking of. Versus Marlon Humphrey. So we had to have seen this matchup before. I don't know who wins this matchup though. Um, no. Okay. Anyway, I don't. We have seen this matchup before. We've seen Marlon Humphrey versus Jarvis Landry. I don't know how that went, but hold on, I'm actually gonna go watch that video right now. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. All right. So I just watched the video. Hold on, I gotta start this crap at. Marlon Humphrey kind of locked this man up. So Marcus Peters. I forgot about Marcus Peters too, but Marcus Peters did okay versus him as well. Marcus Peters kind of let up like one big play, but other than that, they kind of had Jarvis locked up. But you got to deal with Michael Thomas back as well. You're gonna have to deal with Chris Olave as well. I don't know, but I think the secondary can match up versus it. But I think there's the Saints secondary as well with Marcus May, uh, Honey Badger, with uh, Marshawn Lattimore. I think they can match up versus this as well. Like this is probably going to be a lower scoring game. It's either going to be low scoring or high scoring, one or the other. Which I know that's kind of easy to say, but I don't know. Like it could really go either way because these are two very good defenses, but also two very good offenses. But I think the Saints have too much to lock. Like I think they have more threats. I think the Saints have more threats. As in they have three very good receivers, while the Ravens might not even have one if Rashad Bateman's not that good. So I'm not sure. I'm assuming the Saints though, especially at home, it just favors them. I think that situation favors them greatly. Um Panthers Ravens. I don't know. If the Ravens are the better team, I like. It's gonna be Baker versus the Ravens, which have historically kind of been banger games. But I don't know. I think. I think the Browns were probably like it was Baker games on the Browns, which was a better situation. So he went to a worse situation, and while it's probably going to be a good game, I think I'd still favor the Ravens, especially at home. Uh, Jags Ravens, just the Jags are going to be better, but I don't know that. I don't know. I don't think the Jaguars are quite. I don't think they're even close to the Ravens level, really. I just don't think they're quite there. Um, Ravens Broncos. Yikes. This should probably be a pretty good one as well, actually. The Russell Wilson led um Broncos. Um I think this one's tough because I think they have the secondary to actually lock up Cortland Sutton and like Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick, and um freak what's the third one? Starts with a J. He's like a second year dude, third year dude, very young. Starts with a J. Hold on, it's coming to me. I think he's more of a slot guy. I forgot his name. He's set for a breakout year. He's put up like 900 yards last year. I know who I'm thinking of. I just don't remember this dude's name. I forgot his name. Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy. Yes. Um, I think they have the secondary to actually do pretty well versus the Broncos. And normally, like if you don't, if your corners are last, God, if your um receivers are all locked up, your safety net tight end. Well, they don't really have a good tight end either. The run game is pretty good, and I don't know how good the Ravens' run game is. It's probably gonna be good though, just because that Ravens defense is pretty good. So I don't know. I think while the Broncos are probably favored here, I'm gonna take the Ravens. I think in the upset because this is more so of an upset, but I think the Ravens can really seal it out because as long as their secondary plays well, because I don't know how well the Broncos can do versus Lamar. I'm not sure. This one, this is like a 50-50 game as well. But I'm going to take Ravens here. Probably just a little bit more of an upset. Well, I think the Broncos are very, very good. I think that the Broncos got to lose games somewhere, right? Outside division, they got to lose games somewhere. Um, I think this is one where I'm going to take them just because I don't know. Like their receivers, like they don't have a top 10 receiver. Like Jerry Judy's not, Cortland Sutton's not, and Tim Patrick's not. Like they play on three different levels of field too. That's the crazy thing, is that Jerry Judy's more of that slot guy, Tim Patrick's more of that deeper threat, and Cortland Sutton could be wherever I think. But I don't know. As long as the secondary plays well for the Ravens, I think that they can handle Russell Wilson. Ravens Falcons. Ravens are the better team. But it's about as simple as that. I think the Ravens are the better team. And here, this is what I was talking about. They're like next to lock for playoffs. I mean, not really. There's 10-7 might not be good enough. I'm gonna see. I gotta see the Bengals first because I think it depends on if the Bengals have the division locked. Because I think if the Bengals have the division locked, they don't really have to try this game. They're gonna sit their starters. But I think if it's a close game, I think the Bengals probably win in a game where, um, where they're playing their starters, competing for the division. But because I mean they destroyed them twice last year, so we'll see. Bengals week one. I'll go back and finish that game first. I gotta figure out what the Bengals are doing first. Bengals week one versus Steelers. They crushed them twice last year. I don't see it happening. I see it happening again. I do. I mean, uh, Bengals versus Cowboys. Who did the Cowboys play week one? They play. Oh, that's gonna be a matchup. Anyway, uh, it's gonna be really dependent on how they can handle Dak, and I think the Cowboys can probably. It's probably more of an upset, but I think their secondary is not that good, right? They obviously do have a good safety duo, but their corners are kind of new. They're rookies, and you got like Apple, who was okay last year, but not that good. Um, like your secondary was okay. You got Von Bell and hold on, he's coming to me. Yeah, the other safety, very good, like top three safety ish. It was a debate last year, not last year, the year before last, whether it was him or Minka for the best safety. I'm forgetting this guy's name. I keep forgetting names. I don't know why, but yeah, I know who I'm talking about. You probably do too. But a very good safety duo, but their corner's not very good. CD and Michael Gallup could be tough to deal with. Um, I think it's gonna be pretty high scoring, but I think the Cowboys, while the Cowboys are going to be a worse team, I don't think they're going to be a bad team. People are really overrating losing Amari Cooper and Leo Collins. And obviously, no, they're very big losses. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think this team's going to go from 12-5 last year, 11-6. I think it was 12-5, 12-5 to 8-9, 7-10. I don't think they're going to miss the playoffs. Okay. Um, And I think they can sneak out a few high scoring wins because I think Dak likes those high scoring games for the most part. He tends to do better if he's just gunslinging. And so does Burrow, but Burrow's probably like you're gonna imagine Trayvon Diggs comes up with like a pick at some point. I think that could probably come up in a pretty crucial moment. While I think the Cowboys secondary could come up with turnovers. Well, I don't know that the Bengals can. That's my biggest problem here. Bengals Jets. I, the Bengals are just a better team. I'm sorry. Um. Then they got Miami. This is a tough one because I don't know because I don't know how good Tua is. It makes it hard. Like these games are harder to predict because I don't know how good Tua is. I keep having to predict these Dolphins games, but I don't know. I think the secondary once again can really struggle with Tyreek and Waddle. Probably another higher scoring game. And I think this is a situation where if it's a high scoring game, I would just rather take the Bengals in a high scoring game versus Dolphins. You just got Howard, Xavier Howard, and like a pretty decent Dolphins defense, but I don't know how good it's gonna be able to match up versus the Bengals because I don't think they have enough people to deal with everyone on the Bengals. That's my biggest problem here. So I think they'll be okay. I think the Bengals can clutch it out versus destroying the Jets the week before. Uh, as I mentioned already, Bengals beat the Ravens here in a pretty high scoring game. Um, once again, Bengals Saints. Yeah, hour 15. It's probably gonna be like an hour 30 ish. But here, Bengals Saints is really interesting because I feel like I feel like the Saints can really their secondary can match up really well. While it's basically similar to the Cowboys game, very high score. Like the Bengals offense is high powered this year. It's gonna be high scoring, and teams are gonna have to match that. And I think very good offenses that are proven can match up well versus that. Well, I think very good offenses that are not really proven, like the Saints and like Miami, aren't really, the safest picks. Aren't really great picks. While maybe they can do it, we don't know. The Saints secondary is very good though, but it's still gonna have to deal with elite receivers. but I don't know that the Bengals secondary can cover people. Like, you're really gonna have to rely on God, I cannot remember this dude's name, the safety. You know who I'm talking about. Yep, hold on, it's gonna come to me. Jesse Bates. God, I knew it started with a J, but that's I don't know why I keep forgetting these names. Jesse Bates. You're really gonna have to rely on Jesse Bates to have a hell of a game, and he's really the best piece there on that secondary. Like, I don't know on the coverage. I don't know that you can rely on Jesse Bates just to cover, and I'm leaning towards that you can't rely on simply Jesse Bates to cover everyone because he's gonna have to cover Kamara as a receiving back. You're gonna have to cover Chris Olave. You're gonna have to cover Michael Thomas, assuming he's playing at this point, which he definitely should be. He should be good for week one. I'm imagining. I don't know, but um, you're gonna have to deal with Jarvis Landry, who I'm not googling that matchup because I don't know. I think it's tough. I think it's really tough for the Bengals to keep up with it. While it's another situation of I think the Saints can force one or two turnovers. While I don't know that the Bengals can, so we're gonna leave Bengals. We're gonna go Saints. I mean, at home. I'm not sure. This one's really close, but do I want to change that? I think I can rely on Burrow. I think the thing here is that the Saints have a really good offense and defense, while the Bengals kind of just have a really good offense and a solid defense. Not a bad defense, just not a great one. And I think it might struggle versus a very good Saints defense. And it might not struggle. I don't think the offense is necessarily going to struggle. I think there's going to be a couple times where they don't, score points on a drive, while I don't know that the Bengals can stop that. They might limit them to field goals, but the Saints are going to constantly be scoring, dude. The Saints are going to constantly be scoring. I'm very high on the Saints. This may just be me, but I mean, you saw what they were doing with Jameis Winston before he was injured. It was looking good. Um, Bengals Falcons. Bengals. I don't have to really say much about that. Panthers Bengals. Um, Baker does well versus the Bengals, but I already talked about this with Lamar, the Ravens, but it's kind of the similar situation where he does well on the Browns versus them, but can he do well? Like, the difference between here is that Ravens uh, versus Baker were close, while Baker versus the Bengals weren't really close. Like, though ultimately it's still the Panthers. The Panthers just don't have the talent there. Like, there's just not enough. CMC's gonna have to put up like 200 all scrimmage yards. Like, I just don't think I can rely on that. The Bengals are very good. They're gonna be a contender next year. They're a very good team. Um, I already went about that. I think they're gonna sweep the Steelers pretty easily, actually. Bengals Titans. This was interesting because Derrick Henry might just run all over the Bengals, but Joe Mixon might also just run all over. I forgot about that and not really bringing up Joe Mixon. I haven't been really bringing up running backs for any of these, and these have four very good run offenses. But I thought I brought it up with the Browns with Chubb, but like Najee, I didn't talk about Najee really at all. I like Najee a lot, but I mean I don't think that really changes my answers. Um, Bengals Titans is interesting because I don't think the Titans like they're they're uh they're not that bad. They're not that bad. People are really like hating on the Titans when I don't think they're very bad. I don't think they're winning the division. I think the Colts are actually a very good team. But Titans, I mean, they just got the first seed last year. They're not a bad team. You don't go from getting the first seed to, not making playoffs most of the time. I'm sure it's happened before, but I think I would take Burrow here because you're gonna rely on like again, it's like a high scoring game, but in this case, their quarterback is just much worse than Burrow, and you gotta have to rely on a running back who probably could put up 200 yards this game, but he can only score so much. Bengals Chiefs, hell of a game. It always is, but as of recently, the Bengals last year, like they kept beating the Chiefs, so I don't know if they're gonna do it again. I feel like on paper the Chiefs would match up better versus the Bengals, but the Bengals were 2-0 versus them last year. I don't know why it can't happen again. I think it's a 50-50 game between two Super Bowl contenders, but I don't. Hmm. Would the Chiefs really go 0-3 versus the Bengals though? Like it's kind of like a Chiefs revenge game too because they beat them last year in the AFC Championship. I think huh. I think that the they the Bengals could do it while Honey Badger was there, and now Honey Badger's gone. Now there's also no Tyreek, so there's Juju obviously, but we've seen Juju match up versus the Bengals. Actually, have we? We have not seen Juju. Juju didn't play last year, so we did not see Juju versus a good Bengals team. We saw him the year before, but I don't really care about that. It's 2020. Um, yeah, like the games were close when you had Honey Badger and Tyreek. Now you don't have those, so I feel like Bengals can do fine. Browns Bengals. I talked about this. It's gonna be a high scoring game. I've said that like 5 times now, but I'm gonna say it again. Um, that's what happens when you have a top three offense in the league. As the Bengals, you have a very good rushing offense. You have a very good receiving core. You got a very good quarterback. I mean, and you got an improved O line. And you will consistently score 25, 30 points at least. At least. So it happens. Um, but yeah, I think Deshaun's gonna be here. I think I would trust the Browns to, maybe get a turnover or one or two. Well, again, I just don't know how many times the Bengals can really get a turnover. Like obviously you are going to be able to do it, but obviously it's going to happen. Like there's going to be interceptions this season, but I don't know if it's going to happen versus someone like Deshaun or Mahomes again, or you might get a turnover here, you might get one here. But like I don't think I can consistently trust you to get turnovers while Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome definitely can, do well. And the Browns' run defense is also pretty okay, if I recall correctly. While the Bengals, the defense as a whole isn't that great. It's not bad, but it played pretty well last year. But that might have just been a fluke year. It might have been a fluke year for the Bengals altogether, but I just don't believe so. I don't think so. But as long as the Browns play well, I think they can seal it out. Bengals Buccaneers. Ooh, that's interesting. Bengals Bucks. So at this point, the Bengals are sitting at 10-3. So I do think I will go ahead and say it. I think the Ravens win this game because the Bengals are already. What the heck? I did not click on the Steelers. Clicked on the Ravens. But yeah, I think the Ravens win this game just because the Bengals have already locked the playoff spot and the division. So I think at this point, right? Yeah, I think I'm right. I'll figure it out in a second. But or maybe they haven't. Hold on, I won't lock that in yet. Um, but versus the Bucks, it's Brady versus not a great secondary, which tends to not end well for the team without a good secondary. But and the Bucks pass rush is, I think. I think this is gonna be a little bit too much for the Bengals, just because it's Brady. He's gonna score a lot of points. Um, and while yeah, the Bengals are gonna do it as well, and while the Bucks secondary is also not very good, it's actually pretty bad, ironically enough. But um, ultimately, it's Brady. Brady's like, obviously, you're gonna struggle when your secondary is bad versus the goat. It's gonna be a tough. It's gonna be, for the 100th time, a very high scoring game. But I think I would take Brady in these higher scoring games than I would, uh, you know, a very young Bengals team. Um, Bengals Patriots. I gotta take the Bengals here, dude. Um, while I don't think this is necessarily like the worst matchup, and I think the Patriots got a really unlucky draw with playing the entire AFC North, which I mean it's pretty expected actually because that's kind of how that works for the most part. But um, why does that happen? Why does the AFC North play everyone? Whatever. Yeah, I think that the Patriots just don't have the greatest talent offensively. Obviously, you got Mac Jones, which is pretty good. You have a pretty solid run core, Ramondre Stevenson and Damian Harris, but I think I trust passing more than I do running. I would trust passing with a top 10 quarterback with a top 5 receiver, and then like a top 1 backup or second wide receiver too. Than I would two kind of mid running backs. I would just take that over Bills Bengals. Now this one's kind of crazy because hmm I think as I previously mentioned, I think you got to find one upset in the entire season, right? There's always one upset, which I guess this would be an upset. I think this would be an okay. I already picked kind of upsets, but anyway, um, like Josh Allen versus Eli Apple and friends. Like I think I think it's a loaded offense, two loaded offenses, but one also has a loaded secondary, while one does not. So I think I'll take the Bills here. Like I only have the Bengals losing to like these top level teams. Okay, I say that, then I have them losing to Cowboys and Saints and Browns once. I mean, I think like this game's like probably slightly favored for the Bengals, but upsets. And this one, I think the Saints are being slept on. Here, it's a division game. Anything can happen in division games, but I just don't know that they could consistently lose. I mean, they got popped last year. Why can't they pop them with Deshaun Watson? That's kind of my thing. So this is what I was saying. Now this game is one team is 11-5 and one team is 10-6. If the Ravens win this, even if the Ravens win this, it doesn't matter, right? Because they have a better division record. Is that how that works, right? Yeah, they have a better division. Yeah, percentage versus division, and they have a better division rating. So at this point, this game does not matter probably for the Ravens, unless it does, unless it matters for a playoff spot, which it just might. It might matter. Um, I don't know if it matters for a playoff spot or not, but I mean, uh, who do I have winning this game? Because I can't just end it now without actually predicting it. I think, dude, this is such a good matchup. Week 18. I think the Bengals are going to be competing for a top spot in the AFC, right? So I think they're really going to want this game. But I think the Ravens would rather lock in their playoff spots at 11-6. Hmm, this is tough. I don't know that the Ravens are going to get swept by the Bengals though. I don't know. I don't feel like they get swept, but we're gonna say this is tough. I think the Bengals might be a little bit too much for the Ravens though. Like I think the Bengals are gonna be too much for the Ravens. Like I don't want to say that they get swept, but I think it's hard to say that they don't get swept because they swept them last year in very convincing manner. Um, it was not close. He threw for 5,000 yards against them both times. Um, and while yeah, the Ravens are gonna be very good secondary. It's just kind of that thing where I would much rather trust, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd over, Lamar and Rashad Bateman. And obviously, yeah, I'm not ignoring that there's Mark Andrews, but the Bengals' run game is better. Their receivers are better. Their quarterback is probably better. Their O line is not better, probably, but it might be. The O line might even be better. Like I think the only time their situation with the Ravens are 100% better is tight end and defense in general is probably better. But I think I would just rather take the Bengals to sweep the Ravens. I think. So yeah. Um. There's my record predictions for the AFC North. Um. I have the Bengals winning at 12-5. uh, winning the division at 12-5. The Ravens going second, 10-7, and then Browns going 9-8, and then the Steelers going 8-9, being last in the division, and probably Mike Tomlin's first losing season. I think the division is incredibly competitive this year. I think it's going to be very hard. Now, this changes a lot if Deshaun does not play. Uh, the Browns might just actually go 0-6 in the division. Then they might just actually. But we're going to assume that Deshaun plays the second half. And if he does, he's a very good quarterback. He might not come back immediately, but he's going to do well when he is back. So we're gonna see. Uh, without we're going to um without Deshaun, I think that this changes a lot. I think they drop this game, they drop this game, they still win that game. Like I think so. Let's assume they don't have if they don't have Deshaun, they drop this game, they drop this game, they drop this game, and they probably drop this game, which means they move to 4-12. Oh wait, no, they moved to 5-12. I don't know how they got rid of, but assuming they have Deshaun, we're gonna pick them here. We're gonna pick them here, pick them here, pick them here. No, I did not pick them. Yeah, that's right. That's right. We're gonna pick them there. Move to 9-8, and yeah, So my favorite team is probably not even going 500. That's just what I predict at least. Um. So yeah, I don't know if anyone agrees with this, but I don't even know. I think I know what I'm talking about. I don't know if I know what I'm talking about, but maybe I do. It doesn't matter. Um. So yeah. I know I normally record Pokemon stuff, but I can diversify every now and then. It's a long video, but it kind of has to be. I'll probably have the timestamps in, depending on for each team. Just because common decency. I'd figure out how to do that because I don't normally do that because I don't normally have to, but we'll see. I'm probably gonna record more after this, or just record different predictions. Probably gonna do. I'll just go ahead and say it. I'll do. I'm doing AFC West last because that was the hardest. I'll probably do AFC East next, and then AFC South. Or yeah, I'll do AFC East next because I have 4 games done for each one of them already, so it's gonna be the next fastest. Gotta speed up the process. But yeah, um, well, I'll see you guys. I don't know if a Pokemon or this will be next, but we'll see you guys whichever thing's next. How about that?